going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Bring It to the Table. Table. That is what we're going to say today. Table, eh? And I tell you, it's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of stuff going on. Mm, 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 mm. How y'all doing today?
Just take the bite. Just take the bite, anime.
Mm, 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 mm. Eat the cake, anime. Eat the cake, anime. How y'all be today?
Just bring it to the table. I'm just bringing it to the table.
That's right, drippings and all. You know what? You were in the same position when we got off the camera last week.
Hey, CJ, you know what I learned in the years of being on this planet? If the one position worked, why shift up?
Why shift up? So we need to put the cheering up now.
Put them cheering away.
So, disclaimer. Put your cheering and your elderly people away because they may hear something that we can't take back. Don't want to scar them for life. Put them up.
Right. Because some of them ain't seen their vaginas in years.
Well,
You've been watching Little Fires, haven't you?
Well,
Honey.
you know, or you know, like remember the movie Fried Green Tomatoes when they told her, put a mirror down there and just take a good look at it.
Good luck.
Do you remember what it looked like? Just put a mirror down there and stare. Like the Care Bears. Care Bears stare.
you know what? Almost choked. Go on, girl. Give it a Care Bear stare.
Oh, I tell you, that's going to be the new thing for the women. Give it a Care Bear stare.
Oh, Jesus.
So what's going on, guys?
How was your week?
Busy.
Yeah.
In a good way.
How's the commute going back and forth for you now on the weekends?
You know, it's the same. It's not as bad.
Okay.
I have to be in the valley this weekend.
Okay.
So, you know, I think because I haven't been doing it for so long that I kind of look forward to it in a way. Yeah. It's kind of weird. But it's been good. I can't complain.
Okay.
I can't complain.
And what say you, Sir Chiron?
It's still a long week. I feel like I don't know how to. I don't really have any adjectives.
Like
Here's what happened. Let's see what happened.
What
happened was.
So, what's today? Tuesday. So funeral was Friday. You went to wake up Thursday.
Today is October 6th and the day of the Lord.
And so I went into the bank, and there's this little thing in there, and she's not. I know everybody in the bank, and obviously, I mean, I have a relationship with the bank. And so this one woman who's been just amazing, I brought her some flowers because she's done everything. She called her person from Manny Petty and like made arrangements. And then she made arrangements for a whole bunch of stuff, eyebrows, everything.
Wow.
This is my banker. She's just like, hold on, let me call my girl. She'll walk you in. Hold on, let me call this person. Your banker does this. I was like, I've been in a state of gratitude. So I said, let me bring some flowers and just gratitude. So I went to a place in which I had a relationship since my father was there and brought some flowers. And everybody's like, oh, but she was busy and I was dealing with the other two over there. And then the little one of the below two was just like, so who's your flowers? Or who? I said, I have a personal florist. And so naturally, the first thing is, well, what do you need flowers for? And so she can't be older than 30 years old. Can't be. So I was just like, she's like, my nephew died. And I was like, And I said, naturally, I'm like, condolences, because I've been dealing with death so much. I'm just like, wow. And she just starts crying, man. And I'm just like, you don't even look older. You don't have any children. How old is your nephew? Nephew, 17 years old, was in Wilmington last Thursday, like literally 4 days ago. Mistaken identity. She rolled up on the car, shot two people, killed one on sight, and her nephew died slowly, getting out of the car, trying to call the police. 17 years old. Perfect student, perfect ID. It just but mistaken ID. They came up and they just rolled up on him and blew him out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's just ongoing stories like this of just you're so present to things that if you were busy, I really don't believe that more is going on during COVID than pre-COVID. What I
Yeah.
believe is because everyone is being held hostage to a standstill and having to be forced to pay attention, they're now seeing a whole lot more that they didn't see before pre-COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the things that happen, that's still, it would have gone under the rug, but because now everybody is so sensitive
Mm-hmm.
to any and everything that's going on, it's very interesting how we absorb information now.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just been one of those type of deals of looking at life through a different lens. So,
Yeah.
you know,
There's a lot
Wow.
going on. I think that we're just more present to it because we have the ability to do so.
right.
And there's no more hiding.
Before-
There is no
Right.
more hiding.
No hiding.
You cannot no longer sweep things under the rug and everything is okay and everything is in your face
You
and it is
can't.
present.
It's
Yeah.
funny you say that. There's someone that Byron and I know mutually, whom I respected and loved dearly in our prior company, female.
Mhm.
And I'm watching some of her posts, and it took me a minute to get to the point where I was like, if you don't delete this bitch, like, because in my head I'm like, I love and respect her, but some of the stuff that she says, like, she put this last post that broke it for me, and it was, how dare we bring up George Floyd during the debates when he wasn't even an upstanding citizen? Bitch, die, delete. And it was the first situation since all of this has happened that hurt.
Okay.
Like, I expect it from some white people. I expect it. Go. You're that way.
Yeah.
But this person has never shown herself to be that way. And I'm like, oh, you've been undercover all this time.
Do y'all, you know what? But that's a good way to start. That's a good way to start and open this. Oh, by the way, Gene, that person behind you must be talking about you because your picture went crooked.
Ooh.
So
oh, it might be Robin and Ruben. That's Ruben Patterson that used to play for the Clippers. So yeah.
So he may be talking about y'all. You know,
He might
spirits be moving.
That's
You know,
the bro right there.
but that's a good way to start this off. Do you all think that white folks eventually will turn on you? And the reason why I asked this question because I have my white friends, of course, in Seattle. We don't keep anything from each other. We literally lay it like it is because that's the type of friendship we have, and we understand that they're white, I'm black, and there we go. But I remember asking a question and saying I was taught to believe that eventually a white person who's my friend will turn on me because it's in them, it's innate in them to do so. And my friend, she asked me, she said, so do you really think that I would one day turn on you? And after 7-8 years of friendship, I was able to answer that at that time and say no. I even to this day, we've been friends for 14, 15 years. Haven't seen it, don't think about it. But I've been taught that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Gene?
I'm going to say that in my young years, I would have answered the question yes. I would have said yes. But I am not. I can't say that now because, like you, I have white friends whom you could not pay me to believe would turn on me. You understand? Because they're my friends. They're my family. And I don't look at them as my white friends or my white family. I look at them as my friends or my family. Mm-hmm. However, what a lot of white people don't know is we are conditioned to not trust you, even though we may look like we do. Yeah. There's a difference between thinking that you're going to turn on me versus me feeling like, I trust you, right? Yeah. But even now in my mature state, I don't believe that about all white people.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I can see the behaviors early to determine whether or not you fit that shoe. But that doesn't mean I can't coexist with you or have a cordial relationship with you but there's certain things that to me are just freaking unacceptable. Yeah. And anybody that says or remotely insinuates that George Floyd's death was probably warranted because he wasn't a good citizen is evil to me. You have an evil that's embedded in your soul that, yes, you can't be trusted.
Wait a minute, but let me challenge you. What if a black person said the exact same thing?
Fuck them. Now I can tell them to go to hell and kiss my ass.
But you don't
them.
think that that same evil doesn't have to have a, because that same evil doesn't have to have a color.
I think you're worse.
Okay.
I think you're worse if you think that.
Okay.
Because if we strip away race, we strip away racism, the black-white thing, a human being was murdered. How dare you have a picture of you holding a little black boy in Africa on your page and then use those words? Because that when you go to those third world countries where they don't have water and they don't have food, they're 9 times out of 10 stealing to survive. You're okay with that. Because in our country, that would be breaking the law, but they're different. They're over there. Over here, there's things that people do to survive. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make them good people or bad people. It doesn't mean that they deserve to die, though, in that situation. And the fact that there are a lot of white people that can't isolate the fact that he was murdered from the black-white thing says something about you, and you can go suck a dick. A syphilis dick. So I unfriended her. I know B knows who I'm talking about. Gotta know who I'm talking about. I unfriended her and said I'm so disappointed because that hurt.
You know when you eat stuff and it gets you right here, that just
suck a syphilis dick, kick rocks barefoot with lava on them. Next. What does my cup say? Wait, I gotta get it right. 2 words, 1 finger.
Byron, what say you?
A syphilis dick?
Just
an old one too. One that's never been cured.
Nasty.
In case you was wondering how I really feel, I just want you to be able to process that one. Tuskegee syphilis dick.
Not the army. not the army.
Next.
So Byron, do you think that it's in them to switch and change?
No. No. I think the evolution and the transformation of time with the human race has created a new breed of human being. I also believe in the genetic or DNA code is not necessarily real as much as it's taught. And Jay actually hit it on the head. If you're paying, I dated a girl. You've heard of Westfield Malls? So the girl I was dating, her father, unless you're deep into real estate, you wouldn't know. Not you, but the average public would not know. Because Westfield, I actually had dealings with them in doing business. It's actually a family.
Okay.
They actually own the largest constituency of real estate for commercial property and malls in the world. The family I was dealing with was second behind the Westfield family.
Okay.
She's white, for lack of better words, part Persian. And drop dead gorgeous, extraordinarily intelligent. Whole family went to Harvard, MIT, pedigreed up. Was somebody was considering actually marrying. You know, we had talked about it and everything, but she had never met my family. I never met her family, but we would just meet Tulum all over the world.
One of my favorite places. Oh my God. Yeah.
But when it came down to it, she had to choose between her family and the niglet.
Which is you.
Exactly. And it left a bad taste in my mouth because it's not the first time that has happened.
Okay.
So my point to what Jay was saying is, if you're paying attention
early,
whether it's the KKK, whether it is an Indian family, whether it's a Persian family, whether it's a Jewish family, if they have a German family, if they have a stigma against blacks, you if you're paying attention, you'll see the signs really early.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell on themselves. They want to like you. They want to even love you. They even want you to be their pet.
Yep.
You know,
you're a great toy for us.
you're extraordinary. I mean,
You're
you
fuckable.
Oh, I love fucking you. I mean, you're highly intelligent. You're different than other Black people. They won't say that, but they're saying that in everything of all.
Everything they do, yeah.
And you're paying attention is like, you're good enough for everything except for the moral fiber in which I was built to introduce you to my family as somebody that I would take home. And they actually struggle with it. They actually struggle. So when you talk about people that would turn on you, the ones that have a challenge with you as a Black person, meaning they would throw you under the bus, or they're quick to be able to, you know, so long. It really comes down to I call it the new breed of human race. It really comes down to what serves you in the moment that it serves you, but you can see it a mile before it shows up as to if that is a person that lives within that realm.
So let me ask you, did you see any signs in her before?
I did. I was in denial.
Okay.
I was in denial. We have this constant thing. I think both men and women, depending on what phase you are in your life, we always have this optimistic vein in us where we can make somebody better. We can change because they're showing signs. They're showing
make you like us.
I want to be better. I want to be the best version of me that I can. But the reality is, you know, I haven't committed to the change. It's what I want. So there's a saying of, and Jay knows this. There's 4 birds sitting on a fence. 4 of them decide. Out of 4 of them, 3 of them decide to leave. How many birds are still on the fence? 4. You would think it's only 1. But it's 4.
But it's 4 birds were sitting on the fence.
It was a conversation. None of them took action.
They just
decided at some point, someday, I want to be better. So they never took action. You know, hence the conversation, the philosophy that I live and die by. Your action speaks so loud, I can't hear shit that you're saying.
I think it's a huge reality. I go through this in my professional life, and I think the older I get, the less tolerance I have for it. And I've always thought it would be different. I would build a tolerance for it. But I know for a fact that in 85 to 90% of the environments I've worked in, I've always been viewed as the Black girl that's different. She speaks well. She's marketable. We're not sure if she's really Black, so we can pass her off as that. And I know you think that way, but you think that I don't know you think that way. You understand? And people make jokes, white men love you, and they do, but there's a side that I know they don't know exists. My side from Paterson, New Jersey, my side from Baltimore, Maryland, when that comes out, you can't handle that. Yeah. Then you'll find out what it really is. And I won't show it to you unless you need to see it. But I know that in the back of my mind, because when I get the 10th question, what are you really? You got to be mixed with something else. That's for your comfort, bitch. My father's they're from New Jersey in Maryland. Do
you both still feel like when you're in the presence of white folks, you still have to code switch?
If I first meet you, if I don't have a reference point, if I don't have a reference as to where you came from, then yes.
Okay.
And I don't call it code switching because my attitude is, I know who the fuck I am. I might let you in. But if I don't, you're really not good enough to be here anyway. Fuck you and the person next to you, but you're gonna deal with me because you got to.
But Gene, we're not gonna see Paterson when we first meet you. We're not. I've seen you in action.
Why do you need to see that?
But what I'm saying is, but then, is it a form of code switching?
Is it? Because you didn't see Paterson when you first met me. Paterson
but I saw a down chick. I saw somebody who was cool with it.
Now, see,
you also got to understand. It depends on the game. And I'll say this about Jay: you got to decide what game you want to play. Jay's not changing her game for the game, right? Yeah. But if she was playing in JC's game, if she chose to play in that game, she would have to code switch. She's not playing. She's playing with where she is. No, you would if you played in his game, just like we talked about for everybody else.
That's right.
If you play in that game and you're the only Negro in that game and you're sitting at the table and all the rest of the Negroes are like, why don't you show up with the Jersey side? Fuck that. You can't. You'll get kicked out of that team.
You got to earn that. Yeah. Right? That's for the people that are upgrade. And that's in my personal space. But I don't show up that way, period, for anybody.
Okay.
until I feel like you earn that space to be in.
Yeah.
Right? For white people in my corporate environment, they will never earn that space to be in.
You know, because I don't, and I know Byron made this point about me, and I love the fact that my brother knows and sees me. I don't code switch or amplify or for anybody. I literally look at everybody as the same. And I'm going to be very quiet when I first meet you because I'm on this side of the fence. I don't like you until I know you. Mm-hmm. And that's just how I am. I do not like you until I know you. But you won't know that because I'm going to be very quiet around you. Mm-hmm. Only ones who are connected, like B, when B was like, nigga, you don't like nobody. I saw you in action. You don't like nobody until I meet you or Jewel, till somebody come around you and they show they cool, then you cool. And I've always have been like that. You can ask if my sister's on. If my sister's on, if my sister's on, let her chime in. She'll tell you. My sister has to prep her boyfriends to this day and say, and I kind of hate it, but she says, I don't know which bag my brother gonna come out of, but just know he don't mean no harm. But I don't know how he's gonna treat you. So just kind of overlook him.
I don't say I don't not like anybody though. I say everybody starts at zero.
Oh no, I don't like anybody until you show me yourself, because and people, you can dig in. It's not a trust thing that I have. It's nothing like that. I look at people as being human, and humans can disappoint or they can make you feel whatever. I recently had a conversation about this with the homeboy, and I was like, there are only a circle of opinions that I really care about, and two of them are on this line. And because a lot of people come up to me, oh my God, you have the most amazing voice. Oh my God, you're just beautiful, blah, 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 blah. But what I've witnessed being just in my little life, amen, Tanya, I do. Those same people that can give you that same praise out of their mouth, they can turn around within seconds and say, well, fuck you. I don't like you. Like that's why because it's happened at my show before. The same people that come to my show, oh, I love you, you dope. And then the moment I tell them, we need to sit down because somebody else trying to watch the show and you cause an aggravation. Well, fuck you, fuck your show. I'm like, See, that's why I really don't deal with a lot of different people, because I love the security I have with those I trust. So that's why I say I don't like you until I know you. And that's just me.
I say it's not a black-white thing. Like, for instance, I have an aunt.
It's not for me. It's not.
Her husband is from Jordan. They're Muslim. Mm-hmm. They're from Jordan. They're from a Middle Eastern country. And when she got married, she had to convert to Islam, which was fine. She had a Muslim wedding, she had an American wedding. And typically, when the women, it's okay for the men to pull a woman from a different culture and convert her. But his niece was dating a Muslim African American, and they kidnapped her and took her back to the country and said, absolutely not.
Not without my daughter.
But what happened though, when my aunt married him, typically the family will give the wife riches, like they would give them gold.
Right.
Because she was American, even though she converted, they gave her nothing because she wasn't from where he was from.
It's okay for the men to pull a woman from a different
what I'm saying is, I think it's a cultural thing sometimes. It's not always so black and white. I have a friend who I have been raised with since the 10th grade. Her name is Tiffany. And I don't look at her as a white girl. I look at her as my sister. Like, I would somebody over this girl, right? I love her to death. She is blonde hair, blue-eyed. So there are people that are just that live in the family and friend zone. And then there are people who expose themselves that say, okay, you don't deserve to be in that zone. And when you expose yourself, whether you're black, white, Asian, or any persuasion, you can stay the fuck over there because people see something else.
Isn't that a beautiful way to think though? Like I typically don't want to go to your color when your attitude presents itself. You know what I'm saying? I want to take you for you. And that's just how I pretty much live. If I'm talking to somebody may say, oh, what are they, white, black, Latin, what? And then I'll say it. Right. Yeah, no, I'll say it. But to me, I don't define your race or ethnicity, by your attitude or what you bring. Like, you'll sometimes see the Puerto Rican Latinas and they like, no, this is because how I am. I'm Puerto Rican. And I'm like, actually, no, that's how you're acting. That's just what you choose to act like. That's just, because people can be products of their environment, but it's still a choice.
You make it matter. Period.
Yeah.
That's all. It matters when you make it. When you make it matter, now it matters to me. Now we got to do it.
And I think that's why we kind of navigate the type of lives that we have, because we can see, individuals for who they are, not just for what the color of what they wear. And
my mother's husband is blonde hair, blue eye. He is a white man.
Yeah.
I call Chuck Pop. Cameron calls Chuck Grandpa Chuck. That is our family. You can't tell me he is not related to me, even though he is not. He is a good man, and that's just what it is, right? But people think I stand on certain sides. No, I stand on the right and wrong side. Because if you're black and you're wrong too. You can suck that same dick. You can.
It sure is a lot of dick sucking today.
Yes, you can do it too. It's just about right or wrong.
Us back from last week.
Look, I was white till I put my contact lenses in and sat in the sun.
Well, look, let me tell you something. If y'all been watching Lovecraft Country and you see the girl taking the potion and now she white, let me tell you something. That was like 2 episodes ago. I need y'all to go back and
She's
watch.
Doing it now.
I know. But I just love the fact that she was like, no, but when that white girl told her, it's not that you care about Emmett Till. You don't. You really don't. And when I was like, and when she broke, I'm not going to give it away, but when she broke it down to her why, I was like, ooh, she was absolutely right. Ooh.
But old girl needed to figure out what she meant though, and she sure went to.
She did. Look, but you know what?
It's the best storyline.
It is. Ever. It is.
If you understand it and where it comes from.
I want to talk about when you were talking about the Muslim countries. So Rihanna, she did a fashion show, recently, and she had to apologize to the Muslim community for a huge oversight. Wendy, if we have that, I just want to, So it says Rihanna apologizes to Muslim community for huge oversight of fashion show song with sacred Islamic verses. So what she did was a friend of hers, there was another performer who on her record had some Islamic verses that were very, very sacred. And so Rihanna used them in a very expose part of her fashion show. And, and she's speaking out about it. She says, the 32-year-old singer took to her Instagram story on Tuesday. She apologized for using, the artist name is Cuckoo Chloe's song, Doom. And it says the track, which was released in 2016, includes remixed hadith narration about the end of the world and the afterlife, and is written by the Prophet Muhammad and those close to him. The hadith is a sacred text to Muslims just behind that of the Quran. So, in situations like this, one, you're going to always have somebody to do their research if you're an artist. I was going to
say, who didn't do their research? Your PR people.
Sometimes you just say, fuck it, do it, and we'll apologize later. I think that if you're going to do something, I think you should stand on it and not apologize for it. I think that a lot of thought went into that Fenty show. A lot of thought goes into the normal adult thinker, and I think, and hate to use that over again, but I think artists should stop apologizing for the bullshit that they do and just stop doing the bullshit from the beginning. Because if you're going to do it, live in it and be okay with it. You knew you were going to upset some people. You knew you were going to cause controversy. And I'm just not with that whole thing of all controversy or all publicity is good publicity. I'm just not with that because some things you can avoid.
So if a white person came out in blackface, Adele say, you don't want an apology?
I do want
it, right?
I want her to own that she chose to do that and not apologize because that is who she is.
That's what I want to hear you say, because guess what? You're not sorry that you did it.
You're not.
You're sorry that I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Two different things.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so I think that, okay, case in point, Ellen, just go and just tell people, look, I'm a hard up bitch and I like to run my ship a certain way.
And if you don't like it, don't work for me.
If you don't like it, don't work for me. And why the fuck did you not have Oprah? Ain't now nobody talked about Oprah because them NDAs are tight.
That's right.
Why your folks ain't? I bet they signing them now though. I mean,
yeah, I bet they signing them now. She probably didn't think she had to do that.
Let me tell you something.
At all. So whatever. But did you see what's going on with your boy? Your boy they saying he got COVID. Anybody believe that? Because his son, apparently, I'm like, is this article for real? Donald Trump Jr. wants to stage an intervention because he thinks his dad is acting crazy. Like, huh? Did you see that? The president's eldest son has been alarmed by his behavior over the past couple of days, in which he's been desperate to project strength while being hospitalized at Walter Reed Memorial Hospital. Don Jr. said that he wants to stage an intervention, but Jared and Ivanka keep telling Trump how great he's doing. One source tells Sherman, Don said, I'm not going to be the only one to tell him he's acting crazy. What do y'all think?
I don't.
A coworker of mine called me and said, Jamila, I'm a Christian, but
that's what is going downhill from there. When they say I'm a Christian, downhill from there.
But I don't feel any remorse for him being sick. And he was like, I know how much you can't stand him, so I know you jumping for joy too. And here was my response. Because Silvery, my grandmother, has always said, you got to pray for your leaders, even for the ones you don't. And I immediately because I lost somebody from COVID, I immediately said, okay, I'm sad for his son and other people that may care about him that are scared for him if he really has it. And that's where I stayed.
Okay.
I just kind of stayed there. I was like,
Wendy, I
don't think he has it either. However, I think it's an excuse, but if he does, and there's somebody out there that loves him, I'm sad for them. There you go. Move
on. Wendy, I'm gonna send you something. And
I wonder if his girlfriend Stormy Daniels is sad too, the porn hooker. I'm not calling her porn hooker, by the way. Melania Trump referred to her husband's alleged mistress as the porn hooker.
Porn hooker?
Yes,
a porn hooker.
So there's a recorded. Melania was too, so I guess they know each other from the same porn.
Please tell me you have the recording.
There's a recording. It's on the article, but I didn't put the article. She's having a conversation and it was recorded. And she basically called her she called Stormy Daniels the porn hooker. Can hookers call each other hookers? I don't know. I didn't know that.
You know, I've gotten to the point of 45 and I don't care.
I'm with you on that. I just thought it was so interesting.
They've done so much. And have gotten away with so many things that are illegal, and the lies have amounted to over 30,000. I
had a conversation with a Trump supporter, and I realized
please tell me something.
None of them care about his character. It means nothing to them.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter what he does as long as he can protect their money. And I realized that after certain conversations, no one cares about his character. His character means nothing. But what they don't acknowledge is that if he wasn't Trump, if he was Obama, if he was somebody else, you'd be attacking his character. But the fact that he's a liar, nobody cares.
Chris Christie was on CNN and they were talking about Donald Trump, and they were talking about he's his campaign manager, and why did this happen, and why did this, and blah blah blah, and how and when Obama was in office, you acted this way, and you said it was because of this, and in those cases, I really just want them to say, I didn't like Obama because he was black. I just want you to just.
They're never gonna say that.
Just say it. But as far as Trump, honestly, I'm exhausted. I don't care. He released a statement today and said when he wins the next the next what do you even call it? I just don't care. I'm Judy Garland. That's why I don't care.
I watched the damn debate and I was so embarrassed to be a human being. Like I just said, both Biden and him. I was like, this is so ghetto. This is like a ghetto ass custody battle. Like nobody wins. Emancipate America. Let's just sit still for a second and let nobody be in that seat. Because neither one of you two motherfuckers, in my opinion, deserve to be there.
Wendy, I sent you a video. Whenever you get a chance, can you just load that?
It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to have 2 legs and a heartbeat. Like it's like
not the 2 legs.
Yes,
well, sometimes I get embarrassed.
We walk like them. Listen, well, you know what? I have a third one too, but it's out there watching the game.
Well,
it's just ghetto.
Are you inside of something and you're trying to get out?
Are we now talking in a different accent? Would you like to? Are we gonna break this down?
Oh, we're gonna watch the video.
A little bit different.
We're gonna watch the video.
Well, I wanted to also talk about some of my favorite people, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
I think they should run the country. Let's just let them do it.
You know what? I love them so much. I'm gonna one day be friends with them. Watch what I tell you. Everything that I have spoken over my life has happened.
What do you love about them?
I've always loved the royals. I've always loved Diana. I've always loved the children. I've always loved the life. I've always wanted to have an English manor. I've always wanted to live in England. I love the people. I love the people. And but in that case, I'm still over the porn hooker. How the hell? How do you call somebody a porn hooker?
You could call them a hooker porn.
Hooker, hooker and porn. Anyway, you can bring Megan back up there. I just wanted to talk about that for a little while. It's that Megan. She is good friends with co-founder Alicia Garza, who's one of the co-founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. And what they're doing is this month marks Black British Month, in case you guys didn't know that or anything. But it's Black British Month, and Prince Harry wanted to bring a lot of awareness to it. And he says, when there is just a peaceful protest and when there is intention of just wanting community and just wanting the recognition of equality, then it's a beautiful thing. He says, while things have been changing a lot in Britain, a lot of things certainly have to make its reckoning with this historical significance that has got people to the place where they are now. And I think that him wanting to recognize, well, first of all, his great grandmother was a Moor. If you guys want to talk about that thing, one of the King George, well, I forget which one, married a Moor. And if you guys didn't know what a Moor is like a mulatto woman. So there has already been a Black princess. Matter of fact, there's been a Black queen. You can Google her. You can just Google the first Moor of England. And it'll tell you that she was Italian and of African descent. And
so it's
Jesus. When you get the olive
Hi, cousin.
Italians,
yeah.
True authentic Italians, blue eyes, blue hair.
Look.
Blonde hair.
And I think Prince Harry is now just making he's making the call to say, look, I married a Black woman. And I didn't do that just because I fell in love with her Blackness. I fell in love with her first, and she just happens to be Black. And because it's now Britain's Black History Month and he's living in America, I think he now can have his voice be heard loud and clear and say, look, we got some reckoning to do. There have been a lot of Black British men, a lot of Black British women who have made significant contributions to our country, to our culture. It is time for us to make, to recognize who they are. So I think that him taking a stance on that is absolutely amazing. I love the royals. I really do. I'm going to one day be there. I said I was going to marry a royal, but the damn princesses are so damn ugly. My gosh. I think it's because all that inbreeding. It's so damn ugly. Because, the queen is actually married to her cousin.
That's what the Rothschilds do.
Well, that's just too much damn inbreeding. But yeah, her cousin is actually her second cousin. Because they're both of their great grandmothers was Queen Mary.
Yeah,
so yeah, they're cousins.
And Rockefellers, they got people with 3 eyes and 6 fingers running around here because they've been marrying their first cousin.
I just think.
Yeah, I heard they got 2 coochies too.
Man, boss.
2 in the pink and 1 in the stink.
Oh shit.
Well, you know. Miss Yancey. I want to also give a shout out and condolences. We talked about this last week, but it's still making headline news. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend.
They died?
They had
what? I can't sometimes.
You caught me off guard with that one. They had a child that died. And stillbirth. And they named him Jack. And she posted the whole journey online. And it was very brave of her because I've had one of my closest friends, I call her my sister. She's had several miscarriages. And one of the miscarriages was at about 6 or 7 months.
Oh God.
Yeah, just like this baby was for John and Chris. So I just want to give a heartfelt love to any woman out there, any man out there who has gone through this with their wives or their girlfriends or their significant others, that if it helps, talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I believe it's tragic for anybody to go through a process to bring life into this world and lose it.
Yeah.
Any capacity.
Period. In any capacity.
I also believe that there is a code. There is a law. There is I believe there's laws that are written that you can't find in the police station. In fact, I believe these laws are even more prolific and stringent than what you would find in a law book or in a law school.
Are you really about to go there?
Fuck yeah. And I believe in generational curses.
Okay.
These are facts. These aren't theories and hypotheticals. I also believe in karma. And I believe you can bring about your own fucking demise. When you have a grocery list and you have spent the last 2-3 years minimum being exposed with a track record that's much longer than 2 to 3 years, but the last 2 to 3 years being fully exposed at shopping and playing with little kids, then that karmic energy can show up at minimum in a stillbirth.
Well, do you think that that's tied to them?
Do I think? Wendy, could you play the first clip? My first clip, please.
The letter is the secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation.
Damn.
So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for.
Damn.
Hold on, let me
So we're gonna tell a story.
We're gonna tell the story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us. Not just playing.
Look, that black van.
So look. So he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. They never will have our best interests at hand. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop.
Talk to him.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, G.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistol. No, for
real though.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. They never will have our best interests at hand. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become solid investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. They never will have our best interests at hand.
Now, there's 2 more clips behind this. To be very clear about this, when I say, do I think? There's the 666, there's a history behind this that goes all the way back to early AD. And that plays into the fraternities, that plays into the Boule, that plays into Skulls and Bones, plays into all of the houses. There's 4 houses and one that overrides all 4 that direct the money, the power, and the influence all the way to COVID. This thing can be over whenever somebody wants it to be. They're just pawns in the game. Higher up, I'd actually give them more of a knight or a higher position than a pawn.
I see where you're going with this. Kind of like when Jennifer Hudson's mother, brother. I see where you're going.
So, without getting too deep, because we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. And I damn sure don't have time to give people a history lesson for their ignorance. I don't participate in ignorant conversations. That's why you saw me looking at the camera when it comes to Trump. It's just, it's such a, there's so many cogs in the wheel. There's 6 to be specific, and the 6 times 6 gives you 36. When you deal with pedophiles, that's 1. That's just one piece to the pie. Trafficking is another one. Underground gambling. The black market is a whole nother cog.
And can I add this, that, and I want you to understand this. What do liars do? Liars distract. They distract.
Look over here while I do what I need to do over here.
So that's why I have nothing left for those conversations about Trump anymore, because it's a distraction.
That's all it is.
And once you know and see that, people, you can go on with your daily life and know what you're dealing with.
I just think they're entertaining because I don't believe shit. I just love the fact that she called her a prostitute.
Oh no, it's not taking you out of the equation, Gene. It's not at all. I'm just seeing what it is, and I see what a liar does.
I mean, it's one has to. It's such a massive game that started way before our birth. When you look at the political parties and you start talking about the presidential election, and you got we didn't watch it. It was fucking during our show. What the fuck am I watching for? And you look at the puppet masters and you start to understand that there's 11 Senate seats up for open and grabs that can change every community in this country. But nobody's talking about that, and nobody's navigating to talk about those 11 Senate seats, nor any of the names. But everybody wants to talk about Trump, and everybody wants to talk about Biden, which are completely insignificant to making a difference in your community. So I just hate ignorant fucking conversations and stupid conversations. I don't participate. And it's usually motherfuckers that ain't got a pot to piss in or a dollar to save, that have fucked up their credit and at the same time want the government to take care of them. And are sitting up there and want to scrutinize every opportunity that comes across the board and think that somebody's trying to get them for some shit, but they're still broke. Fuck all this shit and fuck the motherfuckers and the horses they came in on. I don't have the patience I don't have it. I just don't have the capacity for it. So next fucking topic, or I can keep with this shit right here, because they have taken the entire music industry, redirected the rap game, utilized them, played them as a pawn, created hip hop, and created, if you will, gangsta music to be able to create penitentiaries that have gone from fucking 500 to well in excess of 1,700, and created the school system to be built like fucking penitentiaries to navigate all the kids and create a certain environment to do this. This is such a well made out mathematical plan to completely prey on those that are less educated, less knowledgeable, and more emotionally disruptive and volatile to take over and create the distraction to the left so I can do what the fuck I need to do on the right, while the entire economic system is collapsing and we will no longer be in power and the money shifts to China. Fuck everybody in the horse that they came in on.
Well, then you got one of those people that was probably at that meeting. You got Jaguar Wright reveals. Who is Jaguar Wright? Does anybody know? I don't know.
Yes. In year 2000, she had a big Coca-Cola campaign, and then she came out with that song, What If Things Could Change? What if you wasn't strange? Telling me no more what I want to do if you're walking out the front door.
Is she doing a tell-all right now? Because if you pull up the article,
been on a rant lately.
She has been on a rant. One of those people that were probably at that meeting that the guy was talking about.
Tuffy, all these motherfuckers are part of the game and have been played. And I mean, and the power and the money for them to be able to control the masses, not the classes, and level into that. My boy Leland's on here. Y'all don't know. If you don't know Leland, CJ, I definitely need you to know Leland.
Okay. I mean, no, it goes with what Gene is saying. Jaguar Wright reveals walking in on Diddy having relations with R&B singer and actor Christopher Williams.
Why do you think
she was embarrassed?
Why do you think Chris disappeared?
I'm not.
Why do you think KRS-One no longer exists? None of them.
KRS-One does exist and is very
no. When I say exist, I'm talking about why do you think their music went under? Why do you think the poet, the educated poet,
all of them went under because they didn't participate?
It shifted the game. You got to listen to the rest of this shit. We don't have time tonight. I'll play it piece by piece. This is just one piece that was given to me. I just like, and my girl who sent it to, I'm like, really that? I was like, let me help you out. Other shit that is completely transparent that will break this shit down as to how they have completely created a blueprint to navigate, misdirect.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If everybody said no, what do you think would have happened?
They would have found.
Everybody said no.
Let me tell you the conversation I was having with Dom. I was in the gym the other day and I've told you about the client base he has, which is very elite. And one of the guys who was sitting there, he was sitting there. He's like, a friend of ours, or a client of Dom's, he was offered $1 million to get his child into USC. And the guy turned it down. He's like, you can't buy your child an education. And he looked at him and he said,
yeah, you can.
The next day, the child was in the school.
But that's been going on for years.
For years. This isn't new information, but we're talking about the destruction of a population, the genocide of a people, and a complete crippling of a nation by utilizing us as a pawn because of ignorance, because people, just like I'm talking about the Senate seats, just like I'm talking about, dealing with the governors, the mayors, and all the way back to your sanctions in your city. You want to bitch and complain, and now all of a sudden you want to feel like you fucking did something because you went and voted for a president? Fuck you.
But my question is, what do you think? Because I really think that there is a group of people that believe we would never have anything if they didn't make that sacrifice to sacrifice themselves.
There's so much blood that's been sacrificed for people who don't even know what the fuck it was sacrificed for.
I had a conversation with someone in the industry. And he said, if you really look at it, if you look at white actors and white people in the music industry, their family lineage will go through that industry to 2 to 3 generations. But there's only a handful, under 1% of us that will allow our children to go past 2 generations. He was like, a lot of actors will get into the business or get into the industry and try to protect their kids from doing so because they gave up something.
Have you guys watched the video for that WAP? I mean, really watched it. What ass pussy?
Yeah, I watched it. All the signs in there, I watched it.
The symbolisms, everything.
Yeah. I have less of a problem with you talking about wet pussy than I do with the significant symbolism and silent codes and conversations that you're sending beyond the conversation that's being had without a word being said.
The dog whistles.
And you got everybody buying into it.
That
video has in excess of 6 million views.
A friend of mine who wrote some of the biggest hits in the 70s and 80s, He's an old man now. And he told me out of his mouth, one very prolific music executive said that you did not make it unless you did A, B, and C with him.
That's right. That's facts.
You did not make it, male or female, unless you did A, B, or C with him. And when I said, and he said, name somebody. And I said, and I said, he said, but look, you wanted it, right? You wanted the number one record, right? You don't get that because you're just talented. I was like, but, and he said, and do you know it's still going on? He said, you don't, he said, why you think these artists are getting on drugs and checking themselves into rehab? They checking themselves into rehab to get away.
Yeah. No, for real. I mean,
it's either that or death.
It's a deep conversation,
and they are disappearing.
That's why I feel so sad for Kanye.
Do you really?
I do. I feel bad for him from a mental standpoint because I think you bite off more than you can chew sometimes. You think you're a superhero and you can take it and you can handle it, and then it breaks you. And I believe he's broken. He was broken because when his sacrifice was done, he didn't recover well from it. He was already crazy. And now he can't recover. And he's involved in one of the most darkest things ever. I'm going to say. I'm not going to even say what is it.
Also, isn't it funny that every personal reach that Whitney had is gone? Her daughter and the boyfriend and the boyfriend's friend, all dead within.
But where's old girl? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about old girl that Bobby didn't like for a reason. Where's she at? She's somewhere quiet as a motherfucker, living her life. Let's talk about that. Where's she at? Where he at?
I remember going into these meetings when I was getting early parts of me getting my record deal. And I remember staring in the eyes of one of the executives who, when I walked in, he said, I want that, and that changed. And I looked and I was like, and he says, and I want to see you after this is over. I want to see those changes implemented, and I want to see you after this is over. And I just want to have just me and you. And I remember the way it was said made me feel that made me feel that I was about to be broken. That I had to be broken because they saw someone who wasn't going to be. And I feel like it was almost like a castration. And I remember walking out of that meeting and saying, no, this is not. And I remember everybody was like, no, we can make it happen. We can make it happen. No, just. And I was like,
but how do you feel as an artist knowing that the only way to get to that side is one of those three things?
I feel that there are more cities and countries in this world that I can make bank and profit off of than little old America.
I had a conversation with someone. He had a sitcom that went for years. Say who it is, and very close to my family. And he literally said, man, and you could see the stress in his face because he was deciding to cross that line. And at that time, we didn't look at it that way. But now that we see where this person is now, they decided to go through with that.
Yeah.
And he said, if I ever make it this big, you better know I gave something up for all of y'all to hope that you never have to do it.
And by the way, to our listeners, we're not talking about conspiracy theories. We're not talking about that. We're talking about stuff we're talking about stuff we know. It's like we're talking about conspiracy theories. And the reason why we're speaking in a point of being vague is because we know who know us and we know them. So read into the lines. That's all we're gonna say on that. Read into the lines.
And he said it. He was like, if I gave something, and after the sitcom ended, and the sitcom ran for years, it's a very popular sitcom. You can tell when the decision happened to go there.
Yeah.
because their career went to a whole nother level. And I remember thinking, damn, you said that.
Well, you know, I do want to give a shout out to y'all remember he was the actor Thomas Jefferson Byrd. When we can pull that up. He was always in Spike Lee films. All like the black guy always in Spike Lee films. Well, actor Thomas Jefferson Byrd, known for his roles in Spike Lee films, has been shot and killed in Atlanta on Sunday. The police responded to a call around 1:45 a.m. Saturday and found the 70-year-old Byrd unresponsive with multiple gunshot wounds in his back.
Oh, wow. Do they know what was the motive or anything, or no?
They do not. But this man in Atlanta shot in his back?
Yeah, 70. He said
70?
70.
And apparently, you know, like Viola Davis has reached out, a lot of other actors who knew him. He was in the Spike Lee movies, but you didn't really notice him until you noticed him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in the back, I'm in my head like, was this a grinder thing going wrong? Was this was this a swipe left when you should have swiped right? Yeah, I mean, it was, because why you 70 and getting shot and found with multiple gunshot wounds in your back?
God bless him. I hope he's out. I mean,
yeah.
Shoot. Heart goes out to his family.
And you know, we lost another, and I know Byron, you can relate to this, and we lost a big fashion plate with Kenzo Takada. Kenzo Brand.
Yeah.
Mr. Kenzo, he died. Yeah, he died of COVID. He was in his 80s. He looked amazing.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And he lived a very healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
But COVID took him out, and it was terribly unexpected. And if you guys know about anything about what Kenzo designed, you would think that it was an African guy designing the clothes.
Right, exactly.
You know, a lot of people thought it was somebody black because he hardly wanted to be the face of any of his stuff. But Kenzo's fashions were just so, I mean, the artistry behind even his ready-to-wear stuff, just beautiful garment, beautiful. I mean, just
I'm surprised it didn't get more airplay.
Well, because he's an Asian man. He's an Asian man. It wasn't gonna go far beyond that. It just wasn't gonna go. But Kenzo, I mean, my heart went out to him, and it took him out quickly. It wasn't that he was sick with it for a long time. I mean, you know, 80-something years old. But I mean, the fashion world is mourning right now for Kenzo. I have a few of his pieces in my wardrobe, and once you wear Kenzo, like, you know it's a Kenzo piece. Like, you
100%.
just
100%.
you know, yeah. So yeah. I don't want to look at 2020 as taking, you know, like fuck 2020 and fuck. I don't want to look at 2020 like that. I want to look at this year as being a year of eyes wide open.
It's funny you say that.
2020 vision.
The more I look at 2020, I look at it as a year of closure. It's shutting down and stripping so many things and people out of your life. And it is almost like a cleansing. Let them go. Bye.
Yeah.
Because there's too much clarity in 2020 for you to not see people for who they are and believe them and let it go.
Because of did you guys? I'll talk about this next week about what the people did in front of the White House. They put down 20,000 lawn chairs, and each chair represented 10 people, and so it represents the 200-something thousand people that we've lost in America due to COVID. And they put empty chairs right in front of the White House so Trump can see it. I
think that's gonna do what?
It's just bring awareness. I think this year has caused me and made me want to be closer to my family, want to be closer just to those who love me and that I love.
I know you're on quarantine.
I know. But it's just made me, you know, want to love on y'all more, you know, and want to love on the next person more. When I saw Miss Edna Wright, you know, Byron's cousin, when I saw her and me and her son were in there, I went in to see her with him together. And to see him touch his mom and to see him touch her hands and call her name and say mama, and there was no response. Touched me in such a way, because I remember when my grandmother died and my mama called her name and said mama, and there was no response, that was final. And what he told me was, he said, I know I had a wonderful mother. And I asked him, and I said, well, when you see her like this, what do you think? And he says, I don't really think. He says, this is just the vehicle that she drove, to be on this side of the world. He says,
Oh, wow.
but when I see her again, I know it's going to be amazing. And he says, I feel her even more around me now.
Anthony.
And that right there. And I remember as he was touching her hands, I held his back, and in that moment, he says he knows that this is the last time he's going to see her in that form. And it made me just want to hug my mama more. It made me want to hug those that I have, and talk to more. And it just gave really a splice between life and death. And all I want to do is love on some folks that are alive. I want to love on y'all that can clearly hear me say I love you. And that's what 2020 is doing for me. I don't want to look at 2020 as being such a sad year and a year of devastation. I want to look at 2020 as bringing love closer.
Did you see my
You don't have to agree with me? I did.
Life is precious.
I think 2020 was a busy year. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, I think 2020 was a busy year, but the clarity around the people that matter was necessary.
Yeah.
Because I think we get so busy, so engulfed in our lives, and so Black lives matter, white lives matter, orange lives matter. Everybody matters. I get that and all of that stuff that's going on. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to have a human to human conversation and care about somebody because they're a person, and not have to look at them and say, you're different because you like that, and I'm different because I like that. And
yeah,
I experienced that the other day at a restaurant. And white guy, Latino business owner, Samoan, myself, Rob, and we're all sitting at the table going, we just missed having conversation with people. One's a Trump supporter, two were Trump supporters, and it was us.
Yeah.
And none of that mattered at that moment. Like at that moment, like the business owner was like, I'm just so glad to be around people that care about me. I know you guys care about me.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me that when we're focusing on Orange Face and his family and, Democrats who don't love us either, because I don't like them either.
Yeah.
It's just keeping us apart.
And Patrice, I want to shout out at what Patrice just wrote up there. There you go. Because I find people I have a very low tolerance for a lot of conversations. I indulge them because I love them. But if I look at the conversations, I'm serious, for a lot of people that I love. If I look at the conversations, when I'm listening, I'm like, will this fucking matter 6 months from now? Because until you have a child that's died in your hands, until you have a friend that died in front of you, as I have, like literally killed, murdered in front of me, until you experience death on a certain level, everybody has this an opinion. And like I think what you said, CJ, was probably, I just don't like the title because of the movie, but it's the truth. If you take the movie and extract it, it's eyes wide open, because until you can see and feel empathetically from another person's pain as you do their pleasure, it's easier to live in their pleasure. But do you know, it's so many people like, I don't know how to deal with death. Yeah, motherfucker, because you haven't experienced it. I don't know how to deal with losing a child, or somebody that's dying of cancer, or somebody that actually got their head chopped off in Nigeria or in Malaysia, or until you actually, because I can't relate to this. Here's a secret. Everything that you haven't been exposed to is coming full exposure in less than 12 months. But I tell you that you got to understand, Art mimics life in the realest form. You just haven't seen it yet. These ideas were not created before the concept was built. It was created, I mean, after the concept was built, meaning it was not art and then life came.
Yeah.
Life came and art was created. But the way people see it, because you've never been exposed, you think it was art. And then the conspiracy theory in that movie that was 20 years ago, now it's coming to fruition. No, the conspiracy theory existed in reality before the movie was made. Now you're looking at pedophiles. Oh, that's real. They make movies about it. Now it's real. No, it was real before. What you're about to experience, motherfucker, is the Cold War. Russia, what you experience in all the movies is now everything starts east and comes west. Everything you've seen as far as the Cold War, the have and the have-nots, the middle class eradicated, is all going to be here in the United States.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's no way you could fathom a movie of everybody walking around with a mask.
Yeah.
Being quarantined.
Yeah.
You see it right now where it's like, okay, you're quarantined and you can't go anywhere for 14 days. What the fuck are you going to do within less than a year? And they say you can't go outside of a 7-mile radius. Oh my God, nigga, this isn't some new shit. This shit is on its way. They're going to be quarantining areas and cities and you're going to be in it. This shit as far as Hunger Games. That wasn't a fucking movie. That was reality before the movie. And reality is about to hit and knock on your door. Now you're the hunted motherfucker. Now what?
Yeah.
Now your job's being... Here's the thing. This shit has been going on. I've been on this planet. I don't normally talk about age. We're talking about 3, 4, 5 decades. What happened when you were a child? Even when you, CJ, a child, and they had milk cartons. Child missing. Oh, it was on a milk carton because it hadn't knocked on your fucking door. Nobody's paying attention to it. Nobody pays attention to a car being broken into, a motherfucker being raped, a child going missing, somebody breaking into your house until it happens to you.
Yeah.
Now it's in 3D amplified by 100 and it's going to knock on the devil is in your neighborhood. It's not on the other side of the world. It's not in another country. It's not in the Aborigines. It's not in the middle of Africa. It's not where hunger and famish is just in India. And all these kids and down in Mexico. And oh my God, the cartels are down in, don't go to Colombia. They're on your fucking door, bitch.
Yeah.
What kind of fucking wake-up call do you need? I'm sorry, I'm so passionate about it.
No, you're fine.
That's
okay. It's fine. I'm telling you, when just seeing I didn't think Miss Edna's death was going to affect me like that because my grandmother was the second parent in my house. And so my grandmother's death just put me on a whole different new level. But just seeing this woman work with Ray Charles, Cher, knew her, Billboard did a thing about her. And there was one moment where I walked in and I was the only one in there, which is she and I. And I just stared at her and just thanked her for her kindness towards me. And I looked at that because she was just beautiful laying there. She was just so beautiful laying there. And I look at the relationships that I have in my life now, and I'm asking them, why are you in my life? You know, what are you serving? What is your place? And am I being fulfilled because you're in my life? Are you just in my life because I just want to say you in my life? Or, you know, do you...
That's the $1 million question that you just asked.
Am I
fulfilled? Am I bringing you and are you helping me? Are we getting better because we know each other? And I'm telling you, that evaluation is valuable.
It really is. It really is.
It's something that hit me really hard today. I was looking at, my craft is beyond marketing, beyond business, beyond writing, and all that shit. It's just about the human race. And I look at the people in which I choose to fuck with. And I was evaluating how we take something back to the store. We'll take something back to Macy's. I look at how Miss Yancey acts when we don't have food here. It's not on any person. I see how Jay acts when I don't get what the fuck I want. How CGA operates at a certain level. Myself operates at a certain level. and I look at as a whole, talking about as a
Mhm.
you know, in the macro level, how many people, and I'm talking to our viewers as well, we got a problem not getting what we pay for. When we pay and we don't get what we want. And I was having a self conversation with myself. True story. I was like, but how many of us actually have a conversation about how the fuck you show up?
Right, Peter.
How about the way you show up? Are you giving 10%, 20%, 50%? Would you be okay with the way you show up, or would you be a return fucking product? Because I'm doing my best. Fuck your best. I paid for this. The universe asked for this. You said you want this. You said you want to have that. You want to do this for your mother. You want to do this for your husband. You want to do this for your son and your child, but you only coming up and your product is faulty. Should you be fucking returned? So somebody return your fucking ass. Because you ain't showing up. You ain't doing all that you can do. You ain't being all that you can be. And that starts in the mirror and then surrounded with who you surround yourself with. Hence, keep your circle real small, because that's a whole lot of motherfuckers you got to keep inventory on that are already faulty fucking products.
Right. And that's why people go insane. That's what, because they keep doing the same thing and being around the same people.
The five people you're around the most is just a projection of yourself. So
didn't Einstein say you do the same thing over and over again? It's called insanity. Expecting different results. You hanging around the same people and you expecting them to change, and you get mad at yourself because they're not. How insane is that?
Because when you know what though? If you're hanging around the same people and you're upset that they're not changing, you probably not either.
And Peter said too many people shop in the discount aisle where they put the iron. True story. You're a fucking discount motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? It's like, who are you to be sitting up there asking for guarantees in life, making demands on people, wanting all this shit showing up in a certain way in your life, but your ass is straight from a secondhand store? Fuck you.
Fuck you. And for my next song.
Let's see. Prince says, I think the most times we begin to make excuses for others' behavior and just accept what they get. You know,
that's like getting a burger and saying, you know what, you forgot the meat, but I'm just gonna take it.
An excuse is a lie buried in a story. I hope y'all know that. When people make excuses, it's a lie buried in a story.
You know what, Prince? I don't think that it's most times. I think there is something in you that has an attachment to the bullshit in them that you haven't reconciled with yet. And I think that when that mirror is in front of you, you can't really look at it. So you rather just put it away. I think that's what it is.
Because you got to deal with you.
Because you got to deal. See, when you look at you, you can't, a lot of times you can't deal with it. So I don't
say go away.
So I don't know if it's making excuses for others' behavior. I think it's making an excuse for your own.
Your own
because
behavior.
You are dealing with that person. And it's something that's, if it's bullshit, it's something bullshit in you. Like spirits gonna be with each other. I don't care how whether it's fuckery or greatness. They're gonna be around it. They're gonna find each other. And I think more often than not, let me just say this. You see how my fingers can move being like that?
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. And it don't hurt. One to stink.
That's somebody whose ass and pussy is way apart from me. That you better be careful with that motherfucking shit if you got to do it.
I think
the ass and pussy is like this, CJ. I'm telling you right now, get rid of that bitch.
I think you lose my point. Damn it, hold on, it's leaving. Hold on, it's coming back. You don't talk when you're afraid to be judged. They're okay. Thank you, Peter, for putting me back on. The Bible says, how can two or less than agree? You're on the money. Yeah, simply because, first off, I don't have to keep giving you Bible scriptures in the Bible to know what my walk is or who I pray and love on. I don't have to do that. I'm prepared, but I don't have to do that. I don't have to show my hand to you every single time you see me for you to know my authenticity. I just don't have to do that. Because if you're for me, you're for me. If you're not, you're not. You know? And I think people need to stop trying to put their Superman chest on, that S on their chest so much that, because sometimes it's a turnoff.
Yeah, it can be.
Turn off.
It can be. Especially when motherfuckers, that's all they walk with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's something about the transparency of, I think the greatest S on a person's chest is a person being transparent and being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And not always. I'm not talking about a weak motherfucker or a bitch mode activity.
I'm glad you're clarifying that, because I bet people on here. No.
I think accountability is the biggest S.
Yeah, but I mean, and the transparency and the vulnerability is amongst the people, like our inner circle of people that you really love and care about, you know, because, you know, we are so prone to having to carry so much weight, you know, and so much responsibility and so much emotional burden, you know, that at some point it's like, well, who does Superman turn to, right?
Who does Superman turn to? Ain't
you know, the truth. And man or female, you know, we all carry the ones that, you know, that take responsibility, that own up to. I don't fault anybody for any shit I've been through or anything I've ever done. You know, even every bad relationship or good relationship I've been in that has not worked out, I take responsibility. Whether motherfucker is still pointing the finger at me or not, it allows me to one, forgive myself, and two, forgive them so I can move on with my life. I'm not carrying that shit into the next lesson and into the next chapter. That's too much. You'll miss everything on that next adventure, holding on to some bullshit from your past, you know. And so,
if technology is changing, why the hell are you not?
You know, with 3 new phones every year for the same phone that you got, you should be shifting and changing
your phone
at least 3 times a year.
Your phone comes with a 2-year warranty. Why? Because after 2 years, that motherfucker gonna break down. It's like to the date, it's gonna break down. So why are you keeping hold of that motherfucker who keeping you behind and keeping you in the back? Because you thinking that's gonna change? No.
Yeah, so true, Leland. So many people will not get this conversation.
No,
they will not get this conversation. I mean, there's a few, Peter, Anthony, and a few other people. I could go through the list.
So wait, let me say this. Michelle Missy White, she's asking a question. She says, "Why do most fear living in their true, authentic self?" I'm going to answer that for you. There's something that I read every morning called. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up for you guys.
While you're pulling it up, my favorite quote lives into that, Missy, and that is, "Most people live as if they'll never die and die as if they never lived." It's one of my favorite quotes on the planet. You know, I've been waking up to that like every day while doing what I call EM, which is emotional management with Just My World. And it's like, how am I going to create? It's what I wake up every morning thinking. How am I going to create the most exciting day? No matter what pain, what burden, what bill, what person, what obstacle, what adversity, what challenge is thrown my way. How do I create? I mean, it's literally my prayer and my thought process of creating daily the most ridiculously amazing day. Even if I could just find one beautiful thing to do or bless or give in some capacity, no matter how many people may think or perceive I'm letting them down because they don't understand my responsibilities in a day. Because how many times when you're carrying this much weight, both you, Jay, and CJ, and people and listeners, that you feel you almost carry guilt that you're letting people down because they don't understand all that you're actually dealing with.
Yeah.
So you're caught between a rock and a hard place because on one hand, you feel like you're letting certain people down. On the other hand, you're in a state of mind like, I do not have the space and time to explain what the fuck I'm doing to you. Because I just don't have the capacity to explain and get shit done so that I can get to the things that are important because there's some urgent things happening. And you got certain people who are expecting or wanting an explanation and you're like, go to hell. And then the ones that don't expect and give you the space and room to do what you need to do, you feel guilty because you're like, fuck. Are you guys understand this?
Yeah.
I think that people are afraid to be their authentic selves because they're not showing up at 100% anyway. So it makes it's almost like they owe the people around them to accept their 20% because they were only bringing 20%. And to be at 100% means they could lose those people who are showing up at their 20%. So if I'm not being my authentic self, that means I'm surrounded by unauthentic people. And to be my authentic self means I got to start over by myself and lose them, when that's actually not true. You'll pull people up to that level.
I totally agree with you. You said I had to listen to it all the way through, Jay, to understand.
Yeah, I did too.
Because I'm like, where the fuck are you? But you tied it in. But the trajectory or where I was coming from, in agreement with what you said, is not the outside, it's the inside.
Mm-hmm.
The inside of me, in being authentic, is knowing that the people that are worthy to be in my space have and will give me the space to do what the fuck I need to do. It does not eliminate the guilt within me of knowing people that I have committed to, that I want to, but because other urgencies and little fires show up faster and quicker, I have to deal with that and push something back in a day, a month, 3 months. And knowing that those authentic people, my authentic self shows up, they authentically show up and give me that space. But it's still emotion. An emotion is an emotion because you can't define it. You know when an emotion is no longer an emotion? When you can define it.
But you serve a lot of people, and you even put yourself out there to serve people who you know only have 10% to bring to the table. And I think
not as of recently. In this last year, I have cut that circle down to a bare. I have cut that.
I don't mean your immediate circle. I mean, in your profession, those people look for you because they're trying to rise from their 10% to 20% to 30%. And what I know about you is, if they look like they want to show up to rise, you have a servant heart that you will help them.
And you're agreed. But I'll give you a prime example. Again, what you're saying is 100%, but only 100% up until January 1st of last year, of this past year, of 2020. Peter Anthony is on here. We have been trying to have a conversation for over 2 months. He's not trying to rise. Sheree is on here. She is not trying to rise. She has assembled an entire.
I'm not talking about that.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
can I interject just a bit? I just want to. I know Michelle. Again, you asked the question: why do most fear living in their true, authentic self? I read something every morning that's called A Bowl of Sake. And so if you guys download it, it's beautiful. It intertwines biblical readings with everyday life. But today, it actually talks about that. It says there are two things, knowing and being. It is easy to know the truth, but most difficult to be the truth. It is not in knowing truth that life's purpose is accomplished. Life's purpose is accomplished in being truth. So I hope that helps you, because it helps.
My whole conversation was around
S-A-K-I.
that. Her statement, not necessarily where you went, Byron. I was responding to that question.
Yeah, and I think
that's why I was trying to connect it. And I think was trying to connect it.
I think too, you know truth by the way it feels, by the way it sounds. You know what truth is. You know when you're not being your authentic self. You know that. Nobody has to point that out to you. That's true. I believe that we all operate in a form of truth. Right. And it's not to show you, it's honestly a protection of us.
Right.
There is still some protection of our authenticity that we have to maintain, that we have to have by nobody's rules, but our own.
Right. Our own code of moral.
Yeah, it's our own code of moral. And I know that at times, my truth does scare people. I know that. I know that I can walk into a room and my truth will make you question everything about who I am. But guess what? That's your perception, not my truth.
Yeah, your perception is your reality.
It's not your problem.
Again, I'm going to go with what my mama told me a long time ago. You're going to have bills and gossip long after you die. So why are you worried about it now?
Well, I live in that same code. My father said, when people stop talking about you is when you need to worry.
Is when you need to worry. So, need to worry.
And Jay, we were saying the exact same thing. I was just talking about the code of people, like Leland, who's, this Negro is like, I can't wait till you guys meet him. I want to get him on the show. But literally, I hadn't talked to him probably for at least a couple of months. I sent him a gift. We send each other gifts. We've been doing it for years. And he was here in LA. Then he removed himself because he went through the same thing I've gone through. And he had somebody tragically murdered. He has his mother he's taking care of. He's got a whole lot of shit, family, Virginia.
Oh, a lot of similarities. Okay. Yeah.
100%. And so, and he's like us, CJ. I mean, he's just the spirit is just, and he's an old soul. I mean, you can look at him, talk to him, and you can see three lives in this motherfucker.
Yeah. Yes, because I had Peter thinking I was 44.
I'm not
like, yeah, so what are you? What you remember this in the 70s? Excuse me?
I share that to say
my mother was in her teens in the 70s, Peter.
More, and I'm going to encourage even the listeners in the audience. I mean, we got to do more of acknowledging the people that would mean something, regardless if you're rich or poor.
Yeah.
Regardless if you become whoever you dream of becoming, or if your life becomes a nightmare, they're the same people that are there for you. We have to learn how to acknowledge and reach out in this space and time, those individuals that, are there, who you know. Like I know you two motherfuckers, like Tanya and everybody else, is like the ones that that no matter what happens, that motherfucker got you ride or die.
Yeah.
And those are far and few between.
Yes, Lord.
And Jay,
chill.
As far as with all the deaths, the family, and the what surrounds me, of holding and feeling like this, it's all on me. It's my perception. I don't like letting people down. You know what I'm saying? I don't like letting people down. And as I evolve, I find a greater urgency of showing up for people versus doing it on my own terms, creating it in my own world. Fuck both of you. You hear what I'm saying?
I do. Also, Peter says you have good skin, but the experience and wisdom of someone older, my bad. It's because I was raised around a lot of old people, Peter. That's what it was. They were old and decrepit, and one foot in the grave.
You are definitely an old soul. You know that.
Lord Jesus, I know. Look, when I was 16, people thought I was in my mid-30s. I never got carded. I was drinking. I'm so sorry.
Don't tell it.
Tell it all. Yeah. But I hear you, B. It's and also all of us, all three of us are survivors. All three of us, I know we strive to be our authentic selves. Mm-hmm. There is no faking it with us. And I think that's one of our commonalities that we have with each other, that we don't fake the funk. You know what I'm saying? What's the point? And I think we've lived, enough on this earth to see with these little things up here what's real and what's not. And I choose to be around what's peaceful.
And that's the bottom line. That's more than anything. I think that's what we all want more. At the end of the day, it's not the millions, the yachts, the houses, the love, the great sex.
Wait a minute, man, hold on. Maybe the yacht now.
Don't throw the yacht away now. Wait a minute.
Don't throw the boat away
on the water.
Yeah, the toe curling sex and all that.
In the water.
The list,
toe curling.
The toes that throw up gang signs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but at the top of the list of all of the things we've listed, we all just want peace.
Yeah.
Even more than anything else, we just want, if you can have a peace of mind, you can laugh. If you have a peace of mind, you can smile. If you have a peace of mind, you can give, you can love, you can create, you can manifest. If you have a peace of mind.
And you can listen when it's peace. When it's peace. You can hear. Oh, let me tell you something.
You can hear what's not
peace and wisdom run neck and neck with each other. You can hear a lot of shit.
But you said something that was so key as somebody who's a survivor and had to survive. I worked a 40-hour week since the 10th grade. So I think you get to a point where I didn't realize I was doing that. It became a filter. It purposely filtered people away from me to just, okay, I'm going to say this and do this. And if you don't like it, bye. And if you do, you're a keeper. It just became a natural filter for me to to just say, this is what it is. If you don't like it, save me some time so I can maintain my peace. Go.
Yeah.
If you
one day, and I don't know, one day, I don't know why I'm getting teary-eyed over this, but one day I want Jean to tell her story, because that's why I love her. I mean, because it's not just Paterson, New Jersey that keeps her like that. My friend has been through, she has lived, you know what I'm saying? She has lived a couple of lives. And just to know who I talk to and who I love is a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And if y'all knew, you would understand why her responses are like they are. And then you would give her room to be just Jean. So, and I think that's what we all should do when you go into when you're in the presence of somebody that's irritating you, or you're in the presence of somebody which you just don't understand, or you're in the presence of somebody that you want them so bad to be what you want them to be. Give them the same room that you would ask for yourself. Because everybody needs that little bitty of space just to be shitty, to be cool, to be quiet, to be whatever. But just give them that same amount of room that you would request for yourself. And I think that would help you along the way. Just give some space. Give a little room. A friend of mine, she was forgetting a lot of stuff over the phone. Just forget. Every time she would talk to me, she's like, "Oh, did I said, look, you forgetting all this stuff." And then she was like, "Well, I'm 66 years old. Can you give me space just to be that age? Sometimes I forget. Can you give me space?" And she said, "Can you just give me a little room for that?" And I said, "You're absolutely right. I can give you room for that." She was like, "Thank you." Because I'm not always going to be with it. I'm not always going to understand. I'm not always. And from that point on, that she told me that last year, from that point on, I give room to people. Even when you treat me shitty on one day, people always say, first impressions, guess what? I would hope for a second impression on some days, or a third, or a fourth. I'm not God. I'm not all merciful. You know what I'm saying? But I can give you.
Oh, now you tell me, motherfucker. See?
But I have learned now to give room. You know, to give room. Now, I ain't saying that I'm going to share a pallet with you in that room. I'm just saying that I can give you room for that, you know? So, and guys, forgive us. We've had a lot of, on this episode, if you guys can't tell. Yeah, if you guys can't tell, we've had a lot of reflection on this episode.
Thank you,
simply because things that have happened within these last couple of months just weeks, I would say, has caused us all to really look at that man in the mirror. And you know, and just really, you know, what's the song that take some inventory? You're a woman and your glory, put the bad things behind. Everybody's got a story about the love and the good things, but for the spices of your life, you got to pay the price. If you look into your heart, that's it. With the positive.
What movie is that from? Is that
Sparkle? From Sparkle. Yeah, from Sparkle.
You should have said that.
I'm telling you.
I had to listen. I was like, that sounds familiar.
Curtis Mayfield has some songs for you. Curtis Mayfield. But that song, I just really think is apropos for the moment. I really do, because if you look into your heart with a positive mind, take some inventory, your woman and your glory, put the bad things behind. Everybody's got a story about the love and the good things, but for the spices of your life, you got to pay the price, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
That's right. I agree with you, and it's okay to say you don't deserve that space. Doesn't make you a bad person. You're probably good for someone.
Let me. I'm on my water thing.
By the way, coffee, Kahlua, and babies.
Wendy, put Tanya's two messages back up.
It's a B-52.
Yeah, it's a B-52.
So it's Grandma Ye.
I knew it.
Grandma Ye, Bailey's, and Kahlua.
Some people don't deserve the space in your heart or mind. True. And then the other one she put about the.
You had one of those with me.
I know. I'm just saying. I have
all
of them.
I'm constantly looking in the mirror. So I wanted to show y'all this with Tanya, you guys. You know, she said growing up in a foster home, I'm constantly looking in the mirror. And you know, and I think that to a lot of our listeners, you know, just turn that mirror on to yourself, just for a little moment. You know, it'll help you out, because once you start seeing them scars, them battle scars, them moles, the gray hair, you'll start appreciating.
Have Tanya on the show.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring Tanya.
Because
Just talk about me want to cry over Gene.
Yeah.
Lord, Tanya got a story, bro.
I mean, I want Tanya on, but beyond her story and what you just said, but one thing that sticks out is I look at single parents, and one thing that's always intrigued me is
she's not a single parent though. I just want to tell
No.
you.
I'm talking about single parents have raised a child.
Raised a child, yeah.
You know my whole story behind that. To come from a foster home,
it's a different dynamic.
Oh my God. And it's one of the most quietly swept under the rug stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say bastardized stories, because even the children that come from those homes don't necessarily always want to talk about it, because they want to so evolve into the familiar and create their own family, so that their children and people that they came through never have to go through what they went through.
Can I ask y'all a question, both of y'all, and even you, Tanya? So a lady who used to make oils and different types of just products for me, just homegrown, she would take the product, literally take the basil and the lemon, the verbena out of her garden and make these homemade oils and things for me. Haven't heard from her in about 4 years, and all of a sudden, this little girl reaches out to me on Instagram, and she says, "Hey, CJ, how you doing? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she's like, "You don't remember me, but my mama used to make the perfumes and things for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." You know, I said, "You know what? I was just thinking about your mother the other day," which I was, and I said I need to give her a call. And she says, "Well, Mom died 3 years ago." And she was a little girl of 10, maybe 8 when last time I saw her. And she said, I said, "Well, how did you get my contact information? Because I only remember talking to your mom." She says, "I have a photographic memory." And I said, "Oh," and the last time I talked to her was her grandmother had just died. And she told me that shortly after her grandmother died, her mother went into, you know, being an alcoholic and literally doused herself in alcohol so much that it destroyed her liver, and her mother died of liver failure. And I said, well, where are you? What happened to you? She said she went into foster care. And I just, as she was texting me this on Instagram, I just started crying. And I was just like, "Are you okay? I said, "But how did you remember me and my name?" And she said, "You did something for me that changed the trajectory of my life." I think she's 14, 15 now. And I said, "Well, what did I do?" And she says, "When you came over to the house," I'm sorry, y'all, I'm gonna tell the story.
No,
I didn't know how much I touched her life as a little kid.
You don't know.
She says, "You came in the house," and she said, "You always looked amazing when you came in." She said, "There's one thing I remember about you." And she said, I had just finished picking some oranges in our backyard. And she said, "You gave me $5 for the bag of oranges that I picked and told me I want to invest in your future, because whatever you're doing, it seems like you are a hard worker." And she said I gave her $5 for the bag. And she said she kept that $5 and she never spent it. And she said she just wanted to one day thank me whenever she see me again. And so when she was texting me this, I'm like, "I did that?" And she says, "You don't understand what you did for me. You planted the seed in me to just be better and do better and know that I could be rewarded for doing good things." And I just lost it. So now she's in foster care. She's doing way better than she ever did with her mother. She says the family loves and protects her. They watch her. They live out in Victorville. And she said that she's doing so good. And she says she doesn't even have any memories anymore of the bad things with her mother. She just remembers who her mother tried to be. And she was like, and I told her, and I wanted to ask y'all, because I don't think things about coincidence. This child found me out of all the people all her life. And what I wanted to ask y'all, I feel compelled to do more for her. I feel like God put her back in my life for a reason. I just don't know what it is yet, but I just want to be a mentor or something to her. I'm gonna need y'all help on how to navigate through that, because
definitely talk more about that.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me of this. a simple story where, you know, when I listen to Tanya and I listen to your story with this young lady,
Yeah,
I'm the heart like you know, Peter, who's immediately coming up with what's the solution, let's help. But it reminds me of the story of the guy who complained about everything and then went and talked to God and said, you know, you promised me this, this, and this. I got this, this, and this. And he said, but you said I could always talk to you. Short version is, I can always bring my problems to you. He said, take your whole bag and leave it there. He leaves the bag right there. And he gets up and he's, thank you, God. I didn't know it was that simple. I could just see, yeah, that's everybody's problem. That whole bag, all that pile right there. Just take the bag and just drop it. I got you. God got you.
Mm-hmm.
He starts walking away. The guy said, dude, where are you going? He said, well, I feel so much lighter. He said, no. Whenever you give something, you have to take something and receive. He said, pick up another bag. When he picked up the other bag, short version is like, can I have my bag back, please? We always want to complain about the shit in our life and what we have going on until you get somebody else's problems.
Mm-hmm.
We're jaded to understand how blessed, no matter what your circumstances. One person is upset because they got two parents that don't understand them till they find out someone only has one person. One person's upset until they find one person that they have, you know, I only have one parent, till they find out somebody else grew up in a foster home. Somebody else gets upset with the foster home until they find somebody else grew up in a jail. That person is upset that they're in jail until they find out somebody else is dying of cancer at the age of 13. It just keeps going,
Mm-hmm.
you know, until we really just embrace this moment, this time, what we have right now,
Yeah,
and create from this moment forward.
And I think as kids, we put a perception of what we think a parent should be in our head. I remember thinking this, my mom don't know, I'm gonna tell this story, but I remember thinking of some of the things we went through, and I'm thinking, how could you not know what you're supposed to do? And I'm paraphrasing, so I'm not going into details.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you know better about this? Why isn't this better? Why isn't this better? And I remember thinking one time that, how could you be so weak? Right? I remember having that in my, and that was a perception of how I saw her handle things. And it wasn't until Cameron, in his 9th grade year, with his first year of high school, his dad wanted him to come live with him. And he did that for that first year. And I was separated from Cameron for a year. Well, I cried every day for a year. Like, it was the most physically painful thing I had ever gone through in my life. I thought like somebody was cutting me. I couldn't function. People were like, you got to break from your son. I was like, I don't want to break from my son. But it was something that had to be done for him. You know, his dad wanted to that experience, and we had that kind of relationship, whatever, it happened. It was at that moment, because I have been away from my mom many times because of many things, that I realized that she never was weak. She was the strongest person on the planet, because I thought I wasn't going to live through that 1 year. And I'm thinking that, I know as a mother, you don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a bad parent, or I'm going to mistreat my children, or I'm not going to be there for them. It made me reflect on all the times where I was angry on her for not being who I thought she was supposed to be, when I should have been like, she made it through that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I couldn't fathom. I cry when Cameron goes away for the summer. Like, I'm in they literally keep tissue in the airport at Phoenix for me, because they knew I'm standing in the window crying, because I know, even though I know he's coming back. And so I could only, instead of me thinking, now here I am in my 40s going, I was so angry with her for what she couldn't do. And now I think she's the strongest woman on the planet, because she made it through that. I couldn't even get past that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all the things that she has gone through as a mother, I was so judgmental and not realizing that she had to go through that to get to where she is. And it had nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So
you gave her room.
I gave her, but I'm sad sometimes, because I didn't give her that room until now. I was so hard on her then, because I didn't understand why she couldn't be who I thought she was supposed to be. And it took me to spend 1 year away from Cameron to realize she probably felt this way every time she was away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a lot of time. There was times, where we just couldn't even speak for a year. And I know she was somewhere in the world trying to figure out how to stay present.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized instead of me saying, you should have been trying to do better for me, she actually was staying here because of me. And I didn't figure that out until Cameron went away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I never told that to my mom, but I love her for that.
Yeah.
I love all of you. By the way, this is not a special edition. I know we've gone 2 hours, family.
Yeah.
But it was more than worth it. And I mean,
you got me crying again over here.
Yeah, there's a whole that will open up a whole nother chapter of just talking about motherhood.
Yeah.
And fatherhood. So yeah.
Yeah. So just love on some folks, y'all. Just love on some people. You don't never know who inspired. All right, get us out of here, B. Let's acknowledge some people.
Let's acknowledge some. Oh my God, there's so many. We got Peter.
I'm proud of you, Gene.
Love you, Gene.
I'm proud of you, Gene.
So bad I did that.
You don't never know who inspired. Yeah. Because you know what? Every time you talk about it, Gene, there's some healing going on. And so,
okay, you want me to acknowledge? What are we doing?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Let it go.
We got Prince Michael Nani over in New Zealand. Monique here. Brandy Johnson, we love you. Color the curator. Tanya Fairley, we love you. Yes.
Okay, CJ.
I'm telling you, I can't stop it.
Michelle, Missy White, Daylene, I love you, girl. Oh, by the way, there's some people who were trying to add. I deleted some people so some of you guys can add.
You dirty motherfucker.
I have no problem with this motherfucker. In fact, I'm shit. I'm like, some people just got to go. I was like, I haven't talked to you. Michelle, I'm gonna add you right now. You've been added.
Were you able to pull up that video I sent?
Kennedy Karen, we love you. There he goes. Miss Nancy is always with us. Prince Michael's always with us. Miss Mishi, are y'all gonna help me acknowledge?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Shit, Miss Mishi.
I don't know who's cutting onions, Brandy. Damn it. She said, who's cutting onions?
Miss She, Tanya. Shut up! God damn it.
Wendy, throw that up again.
Go ahead, throw it up one more time.
Just die.
Linda Cass. Robin is with us. I love you, Robin. Fat Nay, Patrice, Brandy Johnson, Claudia is with us.
Hi, Claudia.
We love you. We love you, Claudia.
Michelle Niha. Niha. I said Miss Yancy, right? Serena, Patricia, yep. Patricia Morgan.
Patrice. Yeah.
Patrice. Peter Anthony.
Pita.
Anthony. I don't know if it'll let me go. I mean, here. Let me do it right here. Stick with me. Here we go.
And Leland is still with us.
Thank you, Perla.
Leland is still with us. Alicia, my boy Leland. Y'all got to meet. That's my ace. Alicia, my baby. Perla, baby Dorel.
Oh my God, you guys gotta watch her TikToks. They are so bomb.
Oh my God.
Congratulations, love, on 10,000 followers.
Yeah.
Yes. Darrell, Patricia, Simone Cordis, Trumont Williams, New Cosmos Felda. I said Kennedy Carrington.
That's my Aunt Renee.
Miss She, I'm adding you right now. Hold on one second. Because you were the one who actually got me to get rid of some people.
Patrice, are flashing across the screen.
Okay. Look at Andrea. Go on, girl. Larice Green Mosley. How are you, girl? Nedrick Campbell. Irving, how you doing, fam? Aunt Nelly. We got Irving, Shanette, Natalie, Monica. Love you, darling. Tanya Farley, I said that. Paul Scott. What's happening, young man? Castle Kinslow.
Paul Scott.
Brian Atterbury. Y'all ain't got shit to say about Brian?
You told us to shut up, shit.
Shut up. Say something.
I'm scared to say
Down. Don't do it. I don't know what to do. Be
shit.
quiet.
I'm just listening. That was
Sound like
said
I'm
to
being
do, just
disciplined.
Denise Mendaya. Felicia Bonner. Dom Amici. Patty Lagucci. She's always on.
Not Patty Lagucci.
Not
Patty.
Oh, Javier Antonio Gonzalez.
What?
Fiery Blaze. Fiery Blaze.
Oh, that's fire. Fire.
Fire. I call it fiery. Fiery. Fire.
She keep flints in her titties.
Prince Michael, my ace. Judith Allen.
Thank you, Carla.
Judith Allen.
Dave Culver, always with me. Alex Courier. I am Chandler.
Oh, that's my fam. Chandler's on.
Chandler's
Yeah.
on.
Oh, that's my. I love you, Karen.
Who
Like,
else?
that's my brother and sister. Like oh my God, I love them people.
How
That's
can you
fam.
see them? I can't see them.
I also have them up on my phone.
Yes.
Yeah, I have my up on my computer, but I can only see the comments. The most recent.
Oh no! What you do is you go to the likes and you click on the 38 likes, and that's where I'm getting most of the names after I go through the comments, Jay.
Got it.
So then you got Patney, Serena, you got Rudy Williams, Tyson, you got Neha
Yep, Dwayne. It sure is Dwayne. It really is.
Davis.
Linda, Dave. Okay.
Yeah. So you see what I'm doing? You see how I do that, right? You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, baby.
So Miss She says, "Great, Byron. I feel honored to be added after you've deleted a couple of your 5,000 friends."
This is just so you know, that's out of 15,000. I don't know my 3-person.
Just so you guys know, Miss She is my longest standing friend. I've known her since I was 10 years old, and we are still as close as anything. She's my sister. I love her to pieces. Yes.
Wow.
You know what? We're going to do a challenge next week. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something about the people that support you and us and we the most.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a challenge of people who we love and that love us back.
Yes.
I don't know what it's going to be, but I just think it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Some kind of challenge.
Should we have Tanya on next week?
Yes, let's have challenge.
Yes.
Okay, so Tanya. Oh, look, Tanya. Byron, she just hit you. She said, "Byron, can you add me, please?"
Yes, Tanya. Of course I can
add
add
me,
you, Tanya.
please.
Of course, Tanya.
Of course. Why not? I have to look. I got 100 people waiting to be added, and I don't know 99 of them. So if I don't see your picture connected to somebody, inbox me because I'll just let you sit there. It'd be a lot of
No, don't inbox me because I don't feel like having no conversation with you about your children, your house.
Just say add me. I don't want to do that either. But I get some creepy men.
Well, I'm not you know what? I don't deal with Messenger a lot, but I will, because if I haven't connect with you, I haven't connect with you. It's just like when people come on our show. If they love you, they'll say they love you. If they don't, they just voyeurs. They'll just watch. I have 3 people that get on my show.
Not the voyeurs.
People, and when I say me, I'm talking about the 3 of us because we're a 3-headed dragon. We have
not the dragon.
We had 3 people to get on this show. You have one who loves you, and the ones who transparently love you, they'll acknowledge you all the time.
That is true.
All the people who love me, they say my name, they acknowledge me, they get on, they scream, they holler. Then you got the second one to get on. They're the voyeurs. They love you, but they don't say shit about
scream
it.
and holler because you done gave them that egg, please.
No, that was you. That would be.
Because my Aunt Carla gets on here too, and I never see her name or anything. And she was like, "You see me on?" And I'm like, "Okay, Auntie, I didn't know."
Yeah. Like I called out one of my friends, Kevin, and you guys, I think Jay, you know, Kevin got on, and Miss Yancey knows, Kev got on, and he's like, CJ, I love your voice. I was like, motherfucker, you didn't say shit about me. You've been on this motherfucker 4 times. Fuck you. We are not friends anymore. Fuck you. You want to holler at everybody else, and I'm the motherfucker that you've known for 40 years. Our birthday's a day apart. I got on Miss Yancey about them because no. nigga, if you down with me, you either holler with me and for everybody else, or shut your fucking ass up. Don't
no, Claudia, I love your review.
Disassociated. We don't need to be. See, Claudia get on. She'll say, CJ, I love you. CJ, I love you, and then hi, Byron.
No, Claudia
say hi, Byron, and then hi, CJ. Fuck you.
Claudia, I love your Monday reviews. Please keep you're Claudia, you're the exception. Don't even put yourself in that equation. I'm talking about folks I don't know. I'm talking about folks I don't know.
Claudia, you aren't a part of that. Same thing with Peter and all of us. I mean, it's like, what is the sweetest sound in your own ear? Your name. And being loved by the people that love you. Is that yes or yes?
Yeah, Chris.
And being acknowledged.
Chris.
So the reason why we do the end of the show the way we do it is because we want to acknowledge every one of you that love us.
Yeah.
The way we do it. And that we're in alignment. It just makes sense. By the way, Fatney, I don't think I saw you in the other part, so I'm going to acknowledge you now. We said Fatney.
Yeah, we showed did. She just like her name. Say my name.
I just want to make sure.
She just wanted her name to just say it again.
Say it again. So
I love
Travis. So it's just, we just have this community where right now it's like, here's the thing. I want to do a challenge of how much we love you and you love us, because right now we just want to spread love.
Yeah.
I think it's just something that needs to happen in the most organic. And that's what this show is about. It's about doing it organically. It's not for likes. We aren't here for publicity. We aren't here and giving a fuck about if somebody really, appreciates and if they're going to share and pick up. We don't care. We just want to be in a community of people that organically, truly, genuinely love each other.
That's right.
And appreciate and respect each other's view. We don't have to agree on everything. In fact, we don't have to agree on 90%, 99%. We don't have to agree on nothing, but we have to respect and love each other.
That's right.
So that's what this is all about, more so anything else for us, and why we want to, at the end, acknowledge everybody that's on here. So we love you guys. We thank you. We appreciate you. We actually did not intend on being at 2 hours and 20 minutes.
We didn't. Yeah.
We didn't.
But we got in.
It's DJ fault.
Prince, we ain't getting out of here without letting my boys shut the fuck up. We ain't ever going to do that. That ain't ever going to happen. But we just wanted to really just take time to just love on you guys. And Brian, if we didn't say it, we do say your name, your ass. Yeah, we stuck with your ass. You ain't going nowhere. So you stuck with us too, B. Dwayne, Miley, love you guys back. So that being said, Jay, you can tell them and give the announcement. Thank you, Pearl. I love you back, girl. Thank you. Go ahead, Jay. Put it out. Oh, I love you. Thank you. This was not a shout out for all y'all.
Go ahead, Jay. Be quiet, Jay. Sit down, Jay. Talk, Jay. Don't say nothing, Jay. What the fuck, man?
All right, I'll shut the fuck up now, Jay. You got Wendy, and that's another thing. We don't acknowledge Wendy enough.
We don't.
And she is. This would not exist without our baby in the background. Right. We call her our angel. Wendy has been with me through thick and thin, and us through since the beginning of this show. This would not exist with the beauty that it brings. Without her, this shit would be shit.
Yeah.
So we really, really do love you, Wendy Baird, sitting in the background. At any point that you want to show your face, we'd love to bring you on the front page. But she loves being in the background for whatever reason. So all that being said, I will shut the fuck up and turn it over to Jean Grey to bring out the kids and turn it over to CJ.
I just want to pause for a minute in case there was anything
else.
I
was like, your camera freeze, bring them up.
So what he was saying is, please bring back all your children, bring back your elderly people, allow them to participate in what we have going on next if they want to actually hear CJ sing his song. Are you ready?
Shout out to Adia before you say that. She's always on. She's one of those voyeurs. I'm sorry. And she's been on since the beginning. Go ahead. It's all on you, CJ.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your dad is rich and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. one of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But until that morning, there's nothing can harm you. With mommy and daddy standing by. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your doubt is rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't. I said hush, little baby, don't. I said hush, little baby, don't you cry. There you go.
I don't know why you muted, Jay.
How many more weeks do I have left, CJ? Countdown is terrible.
Well, we thank you all for joining us today on Bring It to the Table. Stay safe, love on each other, and we will see y'all here next week. Again, forgive us for going over 2 hours today.
Yeah. Sorry,
but
guys.
We love y'all. We did it for y'all. We love y'all. All right. Peace.
Mwah.
We'll see y'all next week.
Love you guys.